Item 628. Electrical services. 1. Description. Installation. Furnish and install electrical services. Relocation. Relocate existing electrical services. Removal. Remove existing electrical services. 2. Materials. Provide materials that comply with the details shown on the plans, the requirements of this item, and the pertinent requirements of the following items. Item 441, Steel structures. Item 445, Galvanizing. Item 449, Anchor bolts. Item 618, Conduit. Item 620, Electrical conductors. Item 627, Treated timber poles. Item 656, Foundations for traffic control devices. For the installation of electrical services, use new materials that meet the requirements of the NEC, UL, CSA, and NEMA, and are in accordance with DMS 11080, Electrical Services. Provide pre-qualified electrical services pre-qualified from the department's MPL. When required by the engineer, notify the department in writing of selected materials from the MPL intended for use on each project. 3. Construction. Perform work in accordance with the details shown on the plans and the requirements of this item. Use established industry and utility safety practices when installing, relocating, or removing electrical services located near overhead or underground utilities. Consult with the appropriate utility company before beginning work. 3.1 Installation. Furnish and install electrical service equipment. Ensure components of the electrical service meet the requirements of the electrical detail standards. Follow NEC and local utility company requirements when installing the electrical equipment. Coordinate the utility company's work for providing service. 3.2 Relocation. Coordinate relocation with the appropriate utility company before beginning work. Remove existing electrical service according to removal under this item. Reinstall existing electrical service according to installation of this item. Replace or add circuit breakers as noted on the plans. 3.3 Removal. Coordinate removal with the appropriate utility company before beginning work. Before the removal of the electrical service, disconnect and isolate any existing electrical service equipment in accordance with the utility company's requirements. Remove existing electrical service support a minimum of 2 feet below finish grade unless otherwise shown on the plans. Repair the remaining hole by backfilling with material equal in composition and density to the surrounding area. Replace any surfacing such as asphalt pavement or concrete riprap with like material to equivalent condition. Disconnect conductors and remove them from the conduit. Cut off all protruding conduit 6 inches below finished grade. Abandoned conduit need not be removed unless shown on the plans. Reconnect conductors and conduit to be reused when shown on the plans. Make all splices in ground boxes unless otherwise shown on the plans. Accept ownership of unsalvageable materials, and dispose of them in accordance with federal, state, and local regulations. 4. Measurement. This item will be measured by each electrical service installed, relocated, or removed. 5. Payment. The work performed and materials furnished in accordance with this item and measured as provided under measurement will be paid for at the unit price bid for electrical services of the types specified, relocate electrical services, or remove electrical services. 5.1 Installation. This price is full compensation for paying all fees, permits, and other costs, making arrangements with the utility company for all work and materials provided by the utility company, furnishing, installing, and connecting all components including poles, service supports, foundations, anchor bolts, riprap, enclosures, switches, breakers, service conduit, from the service equipment including the elbow below ground, fittings, service conductors, from the service equipment including the elbow below ground, brackets, bolts, hangers, hardware and materials, equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals. Costs for utility-owned power line extensions, connection charges, meter charges, consumption charges, and other charges will be paid for by the department. The department will reimburse the contractor the amount billed by the utility plus an additional 5% of the invoice cost will be paid for labor, equipment, administrative costs, superintendence, and profit. 5.2 Relocation. This price is full compensation for disconnecting and isolating the existing electrical service, relocating the service supports, new service support foundation, backfilling holes, paying all fees, permits, and other costs, making arrangements with the utility company for all work and materials provided by the utility company, removing, disconnecting, installing, and connecting all components including poles, service supports, foundations, anchor bolts, riprap, enclosures, switches, breakers. Service conduit, from the service equipment including the elbow below ground, fittings, service conductors, from the service equipment including the elbow below ground, brackets, bolts, hangers, hardware and materials, equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals. Costs for utility-owned power line extensions, connection charges, meter charges, consumption charges, and other charges will be paid for by the department. The department will reimburse the contractor the amount billed by the utility plus an additional 5% of the invoice cost will be paid for labor, equipment, administrative costs, superintendence, and profit. 5.3 Removal. This price is full compensation for coordinating with the utility company to disconnect and isolate the electrical service, removing the service supports, backfilling holes, and materials, equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals.